Welcome to the Drink and Click Show. This is episode 14. Wow, 14. We'll be doing this for, what, over a year now. And people still watch, I hope. So we are joined today by an amazing guest and half bear, half human Canadian, Jordan Oram.
Hello.
And it looked like there's the light is gone in Canada, so he's using some kind of mobile device to light himself or something like that.
Yes, it's true. I'm in a basement dungeon, so.
And I'm joined by an amazing group of panelists, and of course I'm joined by Lotus. Lotus, you want to say hi and introduce the panel?
Hello. Hello, everybody. Yeah, panel as well. Awesome people here tonight. We're going to start over here with Brad Sloan.
Oh, I'm Brad Sloan.
How's it going, Brad?
Pretty good. Just got off work.
I was going to say, have that I just got off work. They're like, wait a minute, I'm not ready to talk to people again yet. Yep. Am I right? So tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find my stuff at wbsloanphotography.com, here on Google+, Facebook, Tumblr, all the places. WB Sloan, that's what you find.
Sweet. And did you start using Crated recently, too?
I'm selling my friends through Crated, having a really good time having a working relationship going with them. Hopefully soon they're going to do some featured artist type sections, so I'm going to be part of that. And
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I can say that I've checked out WB Sloan in a number of places, and I approve.
there you go.
Checked out and approved by Jordan Oram.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being on the show tonight, Brad.
Thank you.
Up next, we've got Christi Nielsen.
Oh, hi, I'm Christi. I'm an artist, photographer. You can find me pretty much anywhere. Christi Nielsen.
Just wherever.
Oh, yeah, just wherever.
Cool.
Yeah, oh, and let's see what's coming up. Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to be teaching 2 photography courses at the University of Texas at Dallas. Starting in the That's fun. I'm really excited to be back in the dark room.
Woohoo. Hey, that's really cool. What are the courses that you're teaching?
What are they?
Yeah, what are the titles of the courses?
There's one that's just black and white film, and then there's a color digital.
What is film?
One is film, one is digital.
I know, just say, what is film?
Oh, what? Yeah.
You need to go take a class.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Thanks for being on tonight, Chris.
Yeah, thanks.
We also have Sara Collaton.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Sara, how are you?
I'm good. Nice to be part of this again.
Yeah, we haven't seen you on here for a while. It's good to have you back on. So tell us, where would we go if we wanted to find the bulk of your work?
You can find me pretty much anywhere online if you Google my name. So SaraCollaton.com, at Sara Collaton for Twitter, SaraCollaton.tumblr.com, and Sara Collaton for Facebook and Google Plus as well.
Awesome. We're going to have to get you to lead a chapter again, like you used to for us.
I would love to, and actually, if anyone in Toronto is listening and would like to kind of take over or co-lead the Toronto Drink and Click chapter, we are looking for more leaders.
We can't just get you to move back to Toronto, can we?
I could move back, too.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the show tonight as well, Sara. Okay, it's time to start talking to our delightful wanderer, Jordan.
The bear.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, hi. Hi, guys. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. Let's see. Where should we start? Beginning.
In the beginning.
In the beginning. My mom and my dad, I think there was some candlelight, a little wine. At least that's what I like to think. It was very romantic. The power was out. It was a cold Canadian winter.
It was your first.
It was meant to be. There was a contest at the beginning. I don't know how I won it, but I guess the other guys were even slower. And moving on. So that's a great segue. I'm totally just trying to find my screen share. Oh, hey. So let's start with here, where people can find me. So I just spend a lot of time working on my website again. And so JordanOram.com or MapleMusketeer.com will get you there. And right up here in the middle thing is the cover of my book with some other little writing things. But that's the cover of the book goes. And there's a blog with, I do photo adventures and
so tell me more about that ebook. Is that an ebook or a hardback or what is it?
It's an ebook, and at some point in the future, I would like to do a Kickstarter, but not yet. It is not yet time. the time is not right. So,
how did you decide to just start with this book? Is this the first one you write, or the first one you decide to put into an ebook?
Well, when I had my idea to go across Canada, like at the start of it, yeah, there's some weird audio feedback going on, so if everyone's hearing that, we apologize.
Yeah.
It's something to do with international borders, I think. Anyways. I guess the ebook I foresaw before I started my trip. I saw all of these people, wonderful photographers, sharing great photos and singular photos, and one of the things I'm passionate about, like people call me a photographer or a writer, and I consider my photography and writing to be more tools of doing what I do in a greater sense. So there's some people who focus even more intentionally into photography, or they'll buy a lot more gear. I use whatever I can get my hands on. I have an iPhone right now. I have a borrowed Pentax. I'm returning that shortly before another trip and getting lent a different camera. And for me, it's wanting to model to people using whatever you have and going out and making it work. And, yep.
Go ahead. So your main purpose of doing the book was just to show the locations, or just to meet other photographers, or?
Within the book itself?
Yeah. What was the whole purpose? You wanted to show the whole Canada going across of it, or you wanted to show different people, or what they do, or what was the whole purpose of it?
Yeah, the purpose of the book is, to show how, like, I started with $250. I had a lot of invitations to places. I didn't know everywhere I was going to go, and I didn't know how I was going to get between the points. One of the ideas, I'm really big on perspectives and ideas and how we frame our lives and how we frame our relationships. And so one of the big ways that's now being available because of the internet is like collaboration. It's working together. It's crowdfunding. It's, there's, self-educating. There's all kinds of amazing stuff around that. And so part of me taking this step into and doing this trip was I believe in this idea of collaboration. I believe that we're in this age now where we can do this in different ways, and this was me practically trying that and practically stepping out and doing it. And so the book is it's a little bit of the scenery and places, but more so my passion is people, and my passion is having people realize the power of their stories, their abilities, and really utilizing the technology we have nowadays to invest in ourselves, in each other, in our friends, and in the legacy we're all creating. So one of the things is that, like, all of us are nowadays, we're all consumers, curators, and creators. And we all set the ratio, we all choose to what amount we do that. But wherever we're eating, whatever we're reading, whatever we're watching, that's all, we choose where we pay our attention to. And then we collect that, and we can choose what we do with it. We can choose if we create or if we just sit and watch stuff all the time. We can create stuff that is very personal and very powerful, or we can sketch and doodle. And there are powerful sketches and doodles. So, not to diminish that art form either. But sometimes we start by trying the more simple things or the safer things before we go into the deeper things. And I think this is where, with photography, again, so the reason to do an ebook is that, and even for me to do photo adventures or to curate a series of photos on a blog or do a project, is that it's less intimidating to take one picture and be like, here's a picture. and just talk about it. It's way more intimidating to say, here's a bunch of pictures that I've specifically chosen for a reason, that I put more of my heart to and put more behind, and now I'm going to put it there, and this is more scary. Like, people might not like it or might not get it or might not understand it. And what happens when we take the tools that we all have? We all have access to editing tools. We all have access to, making books in simple ways, but we put it off and we don't do it. So I'm going to do it. It was like, and I still feel awkward about it.
No, and you shouldn't. I mean, if you look at it, I see many people coming out with ebooks and stuff, and then you have so many little projects that you can be working on that you can make a little ebook about it and just share what you're creating and what you're passionate about. And then a lot of people don't do it because they're like, what about if somebody don't like it, or what is it gonna make sense, or
we're afraid. Right? Like, and I think our culture, one of the challenges is, like, I worked with youth and young adults for a long time. I worked with adults. I meet people all the time. And the thing is that people are amazing. Like, you guys here, you're all freaking amazing. I'm happy to hang out with you guys. Every time I get to hang out with you guys, it's awesome. Like, and like, I want to see what kind of projects you guys would do if you had the time or the ability or the resources. So one of my aspirations, like, I want to put together a collaborative production house. I want to be able to put together people with skills and abilities that we can take and highlight other people with their projects, and we can help, support them. I have photographer friends who are amazing photographers who the business scares the crap out of them. The idea, and not like commercial, just like what kind of stories they're passionate and curating, and the idea of like writing or doing layout scares them. So what if we team up with other people, if we collaborate in win-win healthy ways, and we actually help people get, insert word that starts with S, stuff done, And so for me, I don't primarily consider myself a photographer or a writer. I see this as me trying to show the example. We'll make the book. We'll set up the mailing list. We can set up Patreon. There's all kinds of technology now to utilize. And how can I want to have examples so I can say to someone and say, like, let's do this for you. Because this is what it could look like, or something like this. And so, yeah, that was part of the goal.
I think that's very important, just to have a support, either of friends or group or somebody who support what you do and whatever project you're working on, or whatever idea you have, or get something that they push you to do. Okay, yes, I'm gonna post this, or yes, I'm gonna make an ebook about this. And between photographers, sometimes I think there's a lot of jealousy between how popular this photographer is and how many people follow that person, and all that kind of stuff. And it's always, it becomes like a neighborhood of jealousy, like the neighbor goes like, look at the car he has, oh, ew, and then people talking behind it, instead of just supporting and then going like, hey, let's work together, or let me see what you're working on, or I'm working on this, what do you think I should do, or getting some kind of support in between each other.
Well, I think part of this goes to how people organize what they're used to, what they've taught, what they've understood. So, a lot of times people grew up in dependent scenarios or dependent families or dependent places where one person was in charge, everyone else just has to do and follow the line. And then we get to be independent and we're all like, screw the rest of you, it's all about me. Like, I'm just going to be my own person and do my own thing, and I'm disconnected from everyone else, and there's laws, and we pay money, and we don't have a relationship, we don't invest into that so much. We're just, and it's dog eat dog, and it's competitive, and it's crazy. And so that's where a lot of that, where it's jealousy and it's animosity and it's this crazy, aggressive, bizarro stuff. But when you can look and say, well, what does collaboration, what does it look like to participate with a Google Plus community, or when I go and visit people and we do photo walks together, it's the idea that there's value in sharing, in building relationship with people, and in like and not for personal gain so much as for like group gain. Like, everyone gets out of it. Yeah. And so, the people who are like going to be like jealous jerks, I don't want to play with them. They can take their toys and leave. I'm going to play with the other people, and we're going to do better stuff, because I look at the people, like Drink and Click is such a prime example. Drink and Click Vancouver, I love those guys. I miss them. I've missed like a couple events, and there's a gaping hole in me because I haven't been there. Because like the friends I talk to, Ryan McLean, who's been messaging me now and asking why we didn't start on time, we're a bunch of lazy buttheads. All of these people who who add into my life with their different skills, their different stories, their different perspectives. It's just like a photo walk. You go out there, everyone sees things differently, and that is a wealth. That's not a threat.
That is. I mean, it's kind of funny because the majority of the people, the closer group I hang out with here in Austin is Drink and Click people that I met.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to totally change my circle of friends. I mean, I still have my other friends, but these people have the same interests I have of going, having a good time, take pictures and share and learn, and so it's just it changed a lot. And I think a lot of the other chapters have the same opinion, that they formed the group of photographers and people that like to do the same thing, and they have a good time together.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so go ahead.
I was going to say, so do you want to see some pictures quickly? I know
yeah,
other people have questions as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go through here quickly.
And you don't have to rush, Jordan. We've got plenty of time.
Okay. Well, for me, I enjoy capturing the moments and being sort of in perspective and flow. Some people say I have ADD. I don't know about that. I think I just like to look around and see it and go quick. That's how I work. So this is Victoria on the west coast of Vancouver Island, the west coast of Canada. That's where I started my trip. And this is my friend Nicole. And she's a person who, I want to do follow-up volumes and feature different people. And so in the next volume, I'll share this trip we were on, and then I want to ask her questions and share her photography and help support her in developing her own just her own ability to share and share her work, because she does beautiful work. This guy here, Tyson Elder, with the string of ducks about to swim into his ear, he does a thing called, he heads up Roctographers, Roctography YYJ, or Victoria Roctographers. So he does a lot of concert photography. And he's done a show recently, and he's got a lot of the different concert photographers in the area together, and they've started putting on shows in a studio. So I want to feature him. Like these are just the people that you meet on your trip. Here we have this lovely lookout, and on the rock there is Nicole and her boyfriend Karsten, who's one of my longtime friends, one of my biggest photo adventuring friends on Vancouver Island. And when we get together, we go out and we go climbing, or we'll go out to these places, we'll go explore. And he takes amazing photos. And part of this is that when you see them at work, they don't look like they have superpowers. They look like regular people, because, and this is the thing, is that regular people are awesome. And we all have the different skills and strengths. And this guy is an amazing bass player, an incredible musician, just finished his biology degree, and was working at a sawmill part-time to make money and support his recording with his bands.
I thought you were going to say he craps TVs.
He doesn't crap TV, but we just found that one.
Because it looks like it was like, look what I just made.
Yeah, all by himself.
That is an awesome TV.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, maybe I just found it there, so he could have, I don't know. This was his roommate, who decided that for this picture he would grab a didgeridoo into the bathroom.
Because who doesn't? I do that.
Absolutely. It's the acoustics. But he was amazing. He was doing other stuff, other jobs, but in his room he had this crazy computer system and sound system, and would make electronic music and ambient music.
You know what's awesome? The leggings.
Yeah, the leggings. And he put the beach hat on especially for this shot. Like, he was like, wait, I got to get the hat. So
yeah.
that's
attention. We have a friend here in Austin that wears those leggings, Nikolai.
And gloves.
Yeah, he loves to wear those.
Further up the island, community to community, this guy, like I mentioned it in the book a little bit, but he was a manager of a bike shop I used to walk by when I was going to massage therapy college. And one day I went in there and he told me that he had this epiphany, this idea to do a coffee shop / bike shop, because he was always going back to the other place, back and forth. And he showed me the business plan. As he developed it, I read it, and then he went to start the business. This is like three years later was my first time in the actual store up island to see his dream become a reality. And it's that normal people can do amazing things, and that's what I want to help show, is that our world is incredible. It's full of potential, and yeah, You
started where in Canada when you started this trip, and how long it took you, and how many miles or kilometers you? I like that one a lot.
This one here. This was a house I stayed at in Vancouver where one of the housemates was getting married soon, so everyone was helping make wedding decorations. So I was there, so I helped make wedding decorations. I was 7 months going across and back. This was one of my friend's boyfriends, so I'd never met him before. And she was like, "Oh, you're in town. You should do a trip with my boyfriend. He'll go and take you out somewhere." So we went off into the woods, up into Squamish, and one of the world's premier climbing places. And these guys are watching a fellow try to climb a route that had only been climbed twice before him. And later that year, he successfully did it. I went for a walk one day, and this other fellow had flagged down the bus driver because the bus was on fire.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So
nice action shot there. The guy's like, what?
Yeah. And so this is the, just the moments of, seeing a building and how long that building is still standing. I went by it, but, it could be knocked down any day. Be amazing. Yeah, I can. So it's just the people and the stories, and wanting to help highlight and share that.
What was your? So you've been across Canada before, or this was the first time you were able to?
I had never been. I'd been sort of to the middle of Canada, but I hadn't been further than that. This fellow here is pioneering with a couple other people aquaponics systems in the climate where they raise tilapia in tanks. That water gets the nutrients from the fish, swimming, eating, and pooping, and that goes through the grow beds and grows these plants. It's organic. It's incredible. Just visionary, incredible stuff. I ended up in a recording studio for like a little bit, briefly helping people that had to record some songs. And, yeah. Do you want to ask me more questions, and I'll just keep flicking through these, or?
Well, yeah. I actually wanted to know that now that you went across Canada, now that you get to see, all different areas, what's your favorite?
Well, that's like which kid is your favorite, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You can have a favorite, but you're really not supposed to tell.
Which one would you like to spend more time on?
Oh, there's Krista Ray. I was in Edmonton on Google Photo Day, and her and I were the only ones. We went for a walk and a beer. My favorite part in all of Canada, I'm biased. I'm from the West. I'm from the West Coast. There's a lot of pretty country. It's a big, huge country. But my favorite part is going to be British Columbia, where I'm from. As you get to the west, because of the way the ocean comes in, or the seafloor comes in and subducts, you get the volcanoes, you get the mountain ranges, and so you get a whole bunch of little microclimates. You got a lot of mountains. You got deserts.
Where was that at?
This is outside of Winnipeg, Manitoba. The people on this last page, the one guy on the left, the house where we were preparing for the wedding, that was where he was staying. That's why I was there. And then when I got to Winnipeg, he was there and said, "Hey, come and help me build a fence. Are you doing anything?" And I said, "No."
Oh, cool.
So I went and we helped build a fence for this girl here. We helped hang the back rail, the back part of it. And then they said, "Well, we're going to go to this wedding that for a person you loosely know, you should come crash it." And I said, "Well, I don't know about that, but I'll go help do the setup." So
Yeah.
I ended up at the setup, and they ended up inviting me to the wedding. And that's after the wedding, was the first time they came to the back and hugged her father. So that's, that was,
cute.
yeah. This is one of my former campers. I worked at a kids camp for many years, and so when I was in Winnipeg, I stayed with him, got to meet his roommates, and he wanted to go slacklining, and I said, "Okay, but as long as you wear your lederhosen."
You put him on the spot.
Absolutely. He was like, "Okay." So one of the things was by staying on the couches of all these people and meeting their roommates, it was also giving me the opportunity to just say to these people I met, and the roommates especially younger people, you can do stuff, you just have to, it's about just going and doing it. And you might think it's crazy to go across Canada and do a trip like this, or to go and take pictures, or leave with very little, but I'm a normal person. And to kind of demystify that process for people, I'm a normal person who has a ninja clava and attacks bubbles sometimes.
That's awesome. That should have been the cover of the book.
Well, I wasn't sure about the shadows and what was, that we didn't have to look too closely at that. Anyways, sorry, I ramble.
So this one, Tell us more about the pictures.
Let's go back to that lake
Yeah.
that reflected. That was beautiful.
So I love, I get a thrill about, it's almost like this hunting and this timing thing. This was shot from the train. So I ended up taking a train between Winnipeg to Toronto. And yeah, you know, it's just, you have to resolve yourself to the part that, resign yourself to the fact that you're going by country. You can't see it all. You're going to be looking out this window and not that window, and you got to eat and sleep sometimes. But when you're looking out there and you see something and you time it and you shoot it, there's, to me, there's that magic in that moment, and this was a prime example of that. Just somewhere in northern Ontario, it's a crazy terrain up there, and yeah, that's that lake. I have no idea what it's called. We're just riding the train past it.
Just make a name up.
Yeah, that's Juan Lake.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
Heard of it.
yeah.
Heard of it.
Yeah, it's deep. So these two of these people, the guy and the girl in the middle, were two of my students when I worked for a university, and we went to South Africa together to study conflict resolution. And so they were my students. The other girl was a friend of the other girl, and we were going to a wedding for another one of my students. And this is in some crazy hall in the middle of Toronto. Sarah might know what it's called. I don't know, St. Lawrence Hall.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I went to the wedding and hung out there and was there at the wedding. And then the bride and groom and their family said, well, hey, next week we're going up to this Bruce Peninsula place that I didn't know existed. And they were like, we're at the cabin, so why don't you come up here for a week? So I said, okay. And so I ended up going to this place I didn't even know existed for a week, and getting to learn about it and hang out with them and talk to them and yeah, just encourage and share and listen. And
That's awesome.
That is
I love
great.
that.
That
The
is a great
silhouette
picture.
of the jumper. That's great.
I love that.
Is
Yeah.
that you?
that's totally me. I had the self-timer. I ran up there. I sucked it in.
I can tell. I can see the beer and I can see the chest. Very pronounced chest.
Yes, yeah. I've been doing some push-ups and crunches and stuff.
Awesome.
That's Celeste. So this was I talked her into climbing a tree. When I was going to go to Toronto, Ron Clifford was organized a photo walk when I was there, and she wasn't going to be able to make it. So on her birthday, her husband came. They drove into town and met me at the park, and he watched the kids, and Celeste and I went for an hour-long photo walk around High Park. And Sarah would probably know some of these people, theoretically.
Is that Ron right in the middle?
That's Ron right in the middle. I was like, not between. That's Ron in the middle, and then we've got Lena, and
Oh yeah.
Chris,
Lena's.
and yeah, and Brandon's on the right, and that's Ron's brother. Oh, Clifford, James. There we go. So I mean, and this is the thing. Like when I was trying to pick pictures for the show, I have pictures like this. You know, that people would think look nice. I kind of like that one. But for me, it's more about the people. Yeah. Yeah, it's this fellow is doing his doctorate in computer sciences, and he's from my hometown. And I randomly saw on Facebook that he was flying back into Toronto, and so I decided I'd stay for like a couple other days. And I got him to direct to focus on the shirt more, because if he didn't have his hands there, the T at the bottom of his chest would be pointing right at his groin. It kind of is. But by getting his hands there, you know, we kind of get a different weighting.
So when do you decide just to move on from one spot to another one? Is it like when somebody pisses you off and you say I'm leaving, or you just?
Well,
say,
I part of the thing was that I wanted to always go where I was invited. So even if I knew people in an area, I wouldn't generally contact them ahead of time to say, oh, hey, I'm coming through, can I stay? Like there was people who'd invited me for a long time to come, and there was people who would see me traveling and say, hey, do you need a place to stay? So I never wanted to overstay my welcome. I always wanted it to be something that was, you know, I was, you know, trying to teach or share knowledge or be a part, like have it be a positive experience, you know, and so I would kind of base it around that. So when I would meet people, I'd say like, well, you know, how long do you want me to be here for? Or they'd say, you know, yeah, you know, stay for a week or as long as you want. And I kind of would try to have an internal compass around that. At the beginning of the trip, sorry, at the beginning of the trip, I was gonna stay with my old roommate for a week, but he just had a horribly broken leg, and I ended up staying with him for I think 3 weeks, him and his family, and helping out around, like helping drive him around and stuff
cool.
like that. Yeah, it was a horrible break. But this little fellow and his mom, she's from Victoria on the west coast where we started, and before I even started the trip, she had said, like a couple years ago, she said, "Come to Ottawa. My husband and I would love you to stay here, and we want to see this. We want to see the pictures you take here. We want to see this part through your lens." And so, I let her. We went for a photo walk and a photo adventure. I kind of just shared some photo principles, and yeah, this is, I guess, part of it is wanting to share like my story and the stories of other people, but also, I want to highlight to people, and this is where within the teaching and the mentoring that I do and offer as well, is how people's unique visions. Like I love Brad Sloan's, W.B. Sloan. I love his vision and his work and the Mirror series and stuff like that, because he sees stuff and processes stuff in ways that I wouldn't.
Yep.
I see sort of concepts and other little things like that. In this picture here, on the right there's this like wedding party shooting, and on the left side of the statue, out of the shot that would be taken, there was this fellow who seemed to be, I'm not sure if he was on a lot of drugs or there was some kind of mental challenging going on there, but was in pretty rough shape and really kind of tweaking out hardcore on the side there. And it was just this juxtaposition of these two sides of this one statue.
Yep.
It was kind of intense.
It's a cool picture. I like the stories behind it.
Mm-hmm. And I ended up in Montreal. And, I couldn't go across Canada without stopping in Montreal. That would be horrible. And Montreal, this was a fellow I've known on Flickr for like 5 years. And I'd never met him in person. And when I was in Montreal, he came and met me. It was like meeting an old friend, just like when you meet Google Plus friends.
Yeah.
And we hung out. It was a fantastic day. And on my way back, I did another trip with him. That's the amazing positive potential of social media and technology and connecting and sort of that collaborating. It was just an absolute win-win.
I like that
portrait. Portrait too. Yeah, that's an excellent portrait.
Yeah, thank you. We were in we went into this old fire hall that had been converted into sort of a museum of sorts and was talking about different sections of old Montreal.
I like it.
And I don't know if you've been to Montreal, but there's these ghost buildings all over the place that where they just built over the other walls and incorporated them. Everything's new in the West Coast, or a lot newer, or built with not bricks, so it doesn't generally look like this.
No, I haven't been to Canada. That's pretty cool, though. Oh, I like that, too.
And this is the thing about that uniqueness of a moment. Walking down this from Mount Royal, down this park, down this pathway into this little rotunda thing, and there's this statue right behind me, and it's like what a unique moment that the light is right there. Like to try to duplicate this, you'd be very hard pressed. Like to get the clouds, how they're framing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like someone else could go and shoot that same statue, would look different, right?
Oh yeah.
And I had poutine for my first time ever in Montreal.
What is that?
This is
what? You don't know what?
I don't know. I'm from South America, so you have to tell me what that is.
This is French fries and cheese curd and gravy, and it is like when I ate this, like it was like it's very hard to describe the amount of magic that is in your mouth, and yet when you finish, the feeling that you've taken 5 years off of your life, and like you shouldn't like. To me, this is like a once a decade food. like I ate it.
Yeah, it's not particularly good for you.
But it was so good, and the squeaky cheese, like
So and you throw this down like any time of the day, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or when you're drunk?
Well, I'm sure a lot of it happens when you're drunk too, but
yeah, it's a booze mop.
Yeah. But basically, this one here, there was a friend I knew in Montreal, and she said we went for the trip up Mount Royal and through the park, and then afterwards she was like, "We're gonna go have poutine, and I know where we have to go to get it." So it was just like, "This is the place we're going. This is where you get it."
Nice.
Yeah. This is Katie Sevigny. Met her through Google+. She was on Billy's show. She does indie music. She runs a blog where she blogs about female indie musicians. And it's the thing with the collaboration, and not just networking. To me is it smacks of the sort of the independent mindset as opposed to the collaborating one. Like, I mean, it's kind of an okay word, but I'd like a better word to exist that isn't just about, like, networking seems almost too clinical. Like, I want something that has that emotive connecting into it in a greater sense, that investing into relationships. And so it was wonderful to meet with her, have tea, and we've talked a couple times since then. She was giving me some advice about making press releases the other day.
I'm sure it was. I would love to. Maybe with her a cup of
There
tea.
you go. There you go. And this is Jean-Francois Im, who I didn't have a place to stay in Montreal, so that was one of the cases where I just went on Google Plus and I said, does anyone know anyone in Montreal that would be interested in hosting me? And he popped on. He was like, yeah, you can stay on my floor. And,
Cool.
and so I went and I looked at his stream, and I was like, okay, he's got other people interacting with him. He's a computer engineer. He's working at the university there, and I just looked and saw that he'd had other people interacting with him. He'd interacted with other people, and I was like, okay, he's a real person, and people know that I'm going to his house.
To kill you and put you in a deep freezer.
Even if he does, I told other people, like I had other Google Plus people that I was like, I'm going to this guy's house. And with texting now, you can, I actually, Sharon Stranskov was my text buddy on the East Coast, like when I was out east. So when I got ride shares with strangers, I would ahead of time send her an email with all the info I had on this potential ride. And then I would text her once I got in the car. I would get my phone out and I'd ask the driver, so what time do you think we're going to get in? Because I have a friend waiting for me. It's just like, extra careful. Just, and I never got the, like, I'm in danger feeling at the beginning of a ride. I got it in the middle on once, but anyways, it's another story. That's another story.
Just hop out of a vehicle.
Yeah.
I am not feeling sick.
Yeah, they were illegally smuggling a boar as well, so it was an interesting trip, like a small swine. This is Halifax, so now we're on the East Coast, and this is by making it all the way across the other side, and there's the Atlantic Ocean. So this is one of my coworkers as well. We worked in Guatemala together with the university. So this was one of my old Guatemala students, amazing musician, now doing social work. An incredible musician. Oh, amazing. So, that's a blue wall. Maybe a teal wall?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know too much about colors.
I like that.
Oh, thank you. I know. So I tried to include some of those, but there's more artsy ones. But for me, the people are amazing. Kevin Talio is a fellow I met through Google+. I just said, I'm in Halifax. Who wants to meet up and go for a walk and photo walk? And he said, okay. And we went for 2 walks, and we joined for like this Nights Alive thing. And now he's in Ontario going to wine school.
Oh, nice.
Vintner. And Mike Donahue might be watching. He stood right next to me when I took this picture. Halifax Nights Alive, Halifax Nocturne, something like that. And we were standing in the back. We didn't want to be in the way with our cameras. And this guy was the main MC, and he saw us, and he's like, hey, you photographers, guy with the beard and guy next to him, come down to the front. And he called us right down to the front, and yeah.
That's cool.
I'm sorry, can you go back to the part about wine school?
Wine school.
Because you rushed really fast past that, and I got really a high need for you to slow down and talk about that some more. Okay,
so I think he started a blog recently where he talks about different beers he's tasted and stuff like that. But his posts, he's on Facebook and Google+, and you get to see his comments about the different kind of field trips they do where they're trying different wines out, and yeah.
Wow, I had no idea there was such a thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go back to school.
There you go.
That's good.
Yeah. This fellow is from Chile, and we ended up couch surfing at the same place together, and the host couldn't do anything on the day, but it was pretty nice, and so the host said, Jordan, you've got your driver's license, right? And I was like, yep. It's like, okay, well, here, take my car, take Diego, and here's some places you should go down the coast. And so the next thing you know, I'm driving this Saab down these winding New Brunswick roads with white picket fences and like leaves, that time where leaves are falling and blowing across the road, and it was just like this magic thing that when I woke up that morning didn't expect to happen. That decision was made about 11 a.m. And that's, you know, the wonder of how.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Man, it's just amazing. You can do a trip across, what, the second largest country in the world,
Yep.
and just pick up and do it, and then people host you, and
Yeah,
just-
like different people would do it in different ways. So one of the things is some people would save up, they'd have the money, they'd have bookings in places, and they could do it that way, which I think a lot of people would do. Like that would probably be the more sane way, right? That's the
Yeah.
comfortable, more accepted way. One of the things that, and I guess one of the things that frames my reality is the fact that for many years I volunteered at a kids camp. I worked with youth and kids, and I invested in a lot of people, just wanting to help. Like I went through a lot of shitey stuff in life, and early on, and had very dark times, very depressed times, and mentors and friends helped me through that, and helped me kind of get to the point where I was able to start getting my own understanding and better perspectives, and doing that for others and investing in others. You know, I see how the greatest investment we can make is in other people.
Yep.
The potential is huge, and so when it came time for me to do this trip, there were all these people that said, you know, yeah, like come be a part of this. Like we want to be a part of this. There was this spirit of generosity and working together, and when you're able to trust and work together with healthy boundaries and invitation, it's such a more robust reward. Like I want to find a word that.
Oh, I lost them.
So he was searching for a word, and I think that was just too
a
much.
way to live.
Jordan,
Yep.
you dropped out for like a full 15 seconds. Or
Oh, it was, and what I said was great too. So that's
we could tell there was something big coming, and
I
then
know.
so excited. Anyways, synergy, collaboration, it's good.
Where was this one taken?
This is in Montreal, and this is a viewpoint up on Mount Royal, looking across. And one of the things I want to highlight here is we've got a group of people left hacky sacking.
Yeah, I love all the different like silhouetted figures. Yeah.
And because in the middle there's a camera on a little a frame there, and all these bikes on the right because they're going to be filming something there, filming some kind of bike trick thing.
I like that.
Yeah, like that moment that's just pregnant. This is Sonia Kalchik. She was on Billy's show once. She's near Montreal, and we hiked up this mountain near her town. Her father's a butcher. She brought like amazing, oh gosh, like pate and cheese and baguette, and oh, it was so good.
I love her already.
Yeah, you might know this guy. So this is Billy. This is Billy Wilson. I'm the one person that he's ever met in real life from Google Plus, from all the friends he's made, and I caught a bus specifically so I'd have a lunch, a half-hour break in Sault Ste. Marie, where he's from, so we could meet. And yeah, he's a good dude. There you go. Yeah. Oh,
he didn't bring Tibby.
No, Tibby stayed at home.
What, you got totally gypped?
Yeah, no Tibby action. Yeah.
Come on.
This is Sandra Parlow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I met her on both way when I was going east and west, and yeah. So the trip back was really quick. I just did it by bus, a lot faster, and I was trying to beat the winter, beat the snow.
Oh, I like that.
One of the things that I do is try to encourage people to have sort of not house parties, collaborative potlucks. You know, bring people together. Let's talk about gifts. Let's share abilities. Let's not just the food wizards, not just the people who make great food. Like I'll show up with a bag of trail mix, you know, because I'll be the low bar. But let's encourage people to talk about what their passions are and how can we maybe help each other to accomplish these dreams or visions. You know, there's someone who maybe wants to direct film or film stuff, but doesn't have the confidence or courage to ask for anyone if they would be interested in acting or participating in it.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the world we live in now, where we can read, we can create, we can do. It's just how do we get the initiative to do it? How do we take the little steps to do it? And that's what I love helping people with, is just some of that accountability and how to get by those roadblocks. And I tried to beat the snow, but
Then the snow beat you.
yeah, it caught up to me in Calgary. Then yeah, back through the Rockies and back to Vancouver, where I finally got to meet Tyson in real life. Tyson
There
Cherry.
we go. I know that guy.
Yeah. We met when I was in Ontario and he was in Vancouver through Google+. And we hung out a number of times during my trip. And then finally when I got back, we got to hang out. So yeah.
Jordan, where can we learn more about your book, and where can we download it or buy it, or
Sure.
where can we see more of your pictures?
Okay, well, thank you. I'm just going to unscreen share and make sound effects as I do. Okay. There we go. Well, so there we go. Hi. As far as the book goes, you can download it. Within this whole collaborative framework of what we're creating in the world and what can be. My book is free. I want it to be free. I want people to get it. I want them to share it. I want them to give it to other people that want to be encouraged or who think that they can't do things. And so it's free. You download it on my site, jordanoram.com, and it's free, but it's also pay what you want. So it's totally free. But if people want to support me, if people like what I do and want to encourage that, then they're welcome to, and I'll take that and I'll keep moving that forward. And this is also why I've also set up the Patreon account. So if people want to support me in making a collaborative production house or getting other gear or doing stuff, Patreon allows this. And a lot of people don't even know this stuff exists. So I feel like we're at the forefront of trying to share these ideas in better ways to encourage artists to create, and not just artists, but anybody. So, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. You can just do all this and then push other people to get together and just pull forward to what you have to share and create.
Thank you. Sorry, I got excited and talked and shared a lot of pictures.
No, it was awesome. It was great to see everything. I wish I had the time to do that. Now.
Could I say one other thing?
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it really brief, but I've been thinking about it a lot because of Robin Williams passing away, and not to be a downer on this, but the other day I also posted on my blog this thing about the creative process and the fear of creating. And one of my friends, Jake Kern, commented on it, and he commented about how it was nice to see, it was kind of reassuring to see that someone as confident as me or someone as talented as me still had some of those fears. And I think one of the things I want people to know is that I'm kind of shy, and I spend a lot of time by a computer, and I was very shy, and I was picked on in school, and I was made fun of, and I thought I was fat, and I still struggle with some body dysmorphia and think that I'm like the ugliest guy alive and horribly overweight, and I get nervous, and my best friends were books and nature, and I had to learn to be to lead activities and speak and stuff, and I do that, and it's not like it's kind of me, but it also at times feels a bit like a persona. And so I wanted to I try not to do that, but just to acknowledge the fact that I'm scared when I do stuff like this. I'm not comfortable with this, and there's times where I get really lonely, and I get kind of sad and depressed, and so one of the ways I guess I deal with that is by wanting to help, knowing how much the world can suck and how much it can hurt, and having felt how much it can hurt, to do whatever to help make it better, to choose to make it better. That's how I do stuff. And so, people look, and if they think that they couldn't do things like this, they can do things like they can do, which I can't do, which would be amazing. And so that's just what I wanted to say.
I think the best thing you can do, if you're afraid of something, put yourself in that situation and get over it and just do it. And just, if you have fear of speaking in front of people, just put yourself in that position and do it, and then you will get some kind of joy out of it.
Yeah, and baby steps, tiny steps, little what about Bob right there. Yeah, baby steps. Baby
Yeah.
steps got me where I am.
So thank you so much, Jordan, for sharing all your wonderful trip and your ebook. And I'm gonna share it on the Drink and Click blog or the website, just so people can see and learn more about it. And I'm really happy, and I hope I can do something like that sometime.
I think you can. You're welcome.
Thanks for sharing with us tonight. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We've got some awesome photographers on the panel as well, so we're going to give them each a little bit of time to share some of their images or whatever they want to talk about or show with us so that we can enjoy it a little more. Who wants to start?
I'll go first because I only have a small selection.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, let me screen share first. So, I haven't been shooting much lately because I've been in kind of like the middle of a move and a bunch of renos. But the biggest thing for me is about 2 months ago, I guess, I switched from Canon to the Sony A7.
Ooh.
Which has been great for my back and shoulder. So I was recently in New York at the beginning of July, and that was kind of like my first opportunity to really be able to walk around for hours with something, 2 lenses and a camera and a mini tripod that all weighed less than like 1 Canon lens. I still love Canon, I just physically can't carry all that gear anymore. And it also let me kind of experiment with some street photography again, because since leaving Toronto, the suburbs don't really give me much opportunity for it.
Yeah.
So this was on the first night, just in Chinatown. I met up with a bunch of Drink and Click members, so Deshaun and Rich Miller. We were walking around Little Italy, and actually Mike Young spotted us. And so it was the first time been spotted out in the open, which was kind of cool. And this was just spontaneous walking by. I think it's slightly blurry because I even shot it pretty like maybe 1/40th of a second. This was on the last day of the trip. The building in the background with the red is the building from the Friends TV show, if anyone recognizes it.
Yeah.
But the best thing was being able to walk around all day and feel like I wasn't carrying a bunch of camera gear. And I packed light. It was a 35 mil and a 55 mil for the whole trip in New York. And it was great. During all the 5 months of shitty renos that I've been doing, this was like a 2-minute drive away from it. And then on one of the many late nights I went past sunset, I took a break to get to this location and test it out. And just to show you kind of how powerful Lightroom is, this was a single shot, and that is the before.
Oh, sweet.
All the editing was done in Lightroom with just brushes and gradients and sliders, and didn't take it out once.
Is this the same location? You had some portraits of you and your guy. Was this that same?
No, that was in the suburbs.
Okay. It looked like you were out in a field, or?
We drove kind of just north of the town and found kind of like the old farm roads, and literally pulled to the side of the road when I saw a bunch of hay.
Okay, so I saw some of
you couldn't see anything else.
Wheat in this shot made me think maybe that was that same location, but
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
And then finally, I mean, the only thing I've shot recently was a wedding, which was an honor because it was a girl I used to babysit growing up. She lived across the street. And it started pouring that day. They had a beautiful location at a winery, and we got thrown inside last minute, kind of in like the roof of the building. And this was taken very quickly, and I realized afterward that the window made a heart shape. And so I played that up.
That's nice.
That's all I have to share.
They're beautiful images.
Thank you.
Aww.
I wanted to ask a question. So now that you changed to the whole mirrorless thing, which Sony you went with?
I'm on the A7.
A7, and that's the 24?
Yeah.
That's a 24 megapixel. Are you missing anything out of the other old Canon DSLR?
I mean, the main reason I've never looked at the smaller cameras for the longest time, even when, I guess one of the first ones that came out was really like the Fuji, was there wasn't enough control with the exterior buttons. Like the reason I went away from point and shoots is I didn't like having to go into a menu to change something, an aperture, shutter, ISO setting. I can see a little bit of difference with speed. I mean, if you're going to be using telephotos a lot and you're doing, safari type travel, or you need the speed for something like sports, it's really not going to work, and there's not really the lens selection to give you a lot of the telephotos. But for everything else, you can do. For this wedding, I brought my Canon before I sold it and my A7, and I shot with both. The one thing I wouldn't recommend is the Metabones adapter. That's what I bought first, planning to possibly downgrade to 6D and use Canon lenses for both cameras. It autofocuses, it just doesn't autofocus well, and it's extremely slow. And you would lose most of your shots if you relied on that.
Yeah, if you have the adapter, right?
Apparently the Metabones 4 is supposed to be better. I bought the 3 a couple months ago, and the 4 was just released, but I kept it on manual when I ended up using the Metabones. And so
yeah, I'm about to drop my Nikon stuff and switch to. I think I'm gonna switch to Fuji, but we'll see. I can't wait to Photokina to come out and see what surprises we're gonna get.
I know.
Yeah, I know. We're all like, come on, Photokina, tell me what's going on.
I'm waiting for a couple more Zeiss Sony lenses to come out for me to.
That would be nice. That would be a big step up. Sony needs to step it up with the lens selection. I think a lot of people would switch if they don't have to buy the $300 Metabones adapter to use your older lenses with.
Yeah, and I still love Canon. I still plan to rent them, when I need them for those types of shoots. But I realize when Vivian came to visit me and being able to borrow A6000 from Sony while she was here, just how light, how powerful, the image quality, it's all there. And now that I'm focusing a lot more of my work on portraits, compared to 3 years ago, 4 years ago when I was shooting concerts, I wouldn't have even thought of the Sony A7 then.
Yep.
But yeah, you can. Depending on what you want to do, you can do a lot with that camera.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think for what I do, I don't think I need a nail gun. I think I can do okay with a hammer. So.
Sorry, the one thing I do hate about it, and I have mentioned it to Sony, is because the way that the screen is set up, and it's just an update they need to do. The battery drains like crazy. The battery's smaller. The screen is always on, so you have the option to turn the screen off and watch everything through the EVF, including reviewing your photos, which is just awful, and going through the menu. Or you have the option just to do everything through the screen. I would love the option to have the screen off and only have it on when I'm in menu and when I'm in review. Just like a lot.
I'm sure Sony might be listening to that because they have a big momentum going, and if they want to keep it, they better change and get what their users are asking for. So, hopefully.
That's the biggest pet peeve with them right now.
So we're going to move on, and thank you, Sarah, for sharing your pictures. Those are beautiful, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of your portraiture. I think you're getting more into more of the deep portraiture stuff, so I'm excited to see all this stuff. Who's next? Who's ready to share their stuff? Brad?
Okay, so I just grabbed a few pictures that kind of go with the spectrum of kind of what I do. I don't take a lot of portraits, mainly because I don't like people. No, that's not true.
That is pretty cool right there. I like that a lot.
This one,
the one with the TV or on the first one?
Yeah, the TV, it was a Cannon Beach or...
That TV is another Google Plus friend, Jason Jacober's TV. He uses it for all of his self-portrait series with his TV.
That is pretty cool.
He lugs his TV around everywhere, and we were on a trip together with some other Googlers, Anna Lowry and Tamara.
Celebrity TV.
That's beautiful.
And so we're all at Cannon Beach, and there's this his TV's on the beach, and it lined up good with the rock, and yeah, I like that.
That's pretty cool. I like it too.
You know, and a lot of people say don't center things, horizons, people, objects, and I don't really care. I just kind of shoot the way I want to shoot. And
Darn
Exactly.
tootin'.
Yep.
lots of lots.
Yeah, if they have problems, to take it up with us. We'll just give them the stare.
Yep.
This is in the Columbia River Gorge down the road from Multnomah Falls. I kind of like this one better. I think it's called Laurel Falls, but there's usually a lot less people there, and it's not as like bridge fantasy as Multnomah, but it's got the really cool rocks on the sides of it, the really cool formations, and I really like that.
I love the texture of the
It
rock.
looks reptilian almost,
A little bit.
like a reptile skin
Yeah.
with a lizard.
Yeah, the texture, yeah.
Are those ferns or moss or?
No, I'm not entirely sure.
It's beautiful, but it's
Research on that next time you share that
Yeah.
picture.
I don't know anything. I took this a couple weeks ago at Trillium Lake.
I love this image, Brad.
I got up at 3 in the morning with Brian Matias and Nicole Young, and we happened to bump into Scott Jarvie while we were there. It was kind of weird. I'd never actually met Scott in person, and he was just at this sunrise.
Some random Jarvie action. You
That's
never
kinda
know what's
hilarious.
gonna
Happened to be
happen.
at that lake, and we all happened to be shooting the same thing. And
That was nice.
Google gets you lots of kind of connections, and it's a small world.
yeah, it is.
The mist is so excellent coming up off the water.
I was really happy with
Yeah.
the mist. I was the sunrise was kind of, there was no clouds in the sky, and there wasn't a lot to shoot, like sunrise wise. But the mist hanging on the water really made it worth hanging around for.
Yep.
It's crazy gorgeous. Nice processing too.
Thank you. I like really strong leading lines, buildings, roads, just really harsh lines and contrasting. This
Where
was in
is
New
that?
York a couple years
New York,
back
yeah.
with Vivian, and yeah, it was another Google trip. And the last one I got is Jordan mentioned my mirrored series. I have a series of
Yes.
New York skyline images that are twisted and warped and mirrored, and
That is awesome.
That's so cool.
Uh-huh.
you can buy all these uncrated. No. No.
So you do have a website where you can buy this images, right?
I do. All these ones are available on created.com/WB Sloan, or you can get them from my WBSloanPhotography.com.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah,
How
you've got a
big-
lot of
how-
really good, trippy good
how
stuff
big-
like this. I love this series.
How big? How big can you print something like this?
Oh, I think they offer up to 40 by. Well, I can find out.
Oh, so it's pretty
Yeah,
big.
you-
Pretty
you
big.
can go
40
big.
by. Okay. Yeah, I just printed something that was like 40 something by 18 or something like that. But
Mm,
I like that. I like the whole surreal thing of the two cities
yeah, those are
skyline.
fun to do. So that's kind of the images I take, and that's how I do it. I like the post process. You know, I love the going in the Nick suite. Used to use On One software more. Pretty much now it's just Nick suite, and maybe some old photo tools, third-party plugins, things like that. But
And is it On One is offering some free software today or tomorrow? I mean, today. I think they started today. I think they're offering $100 software or whatever free. So if you go to the website, you can look it up there on Petapixel or one of those sites. So, just look it up. I forgot to do it today, but I need to download that just to have it. Well, thank you for sharing your
haven't jumped
stuff.
onto the Lightroom bandwagon just yet. I've tried it a few times, but I'm still sticking with my Brage Photoshop. The
Whatever.
last one.
I will be the last one.
I love Lightroom.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Brad, for sharing your pictures.
Thank you.
And I think we're going next with the fabulous Christi.
Okay, let me switch share. I haven't done this in so long. Let's see.
You can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it all night long. Okay, so can you see? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see
So,
it.
well, I've done this a few times, and I realized I'm always showing like stuff, like road trips or whatever. And I thought, well, I should show kind of what I consider to be my real work. So this is something that I created for Art for Aid a while back, and
I lost audio for Christie's.
can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Can hear
Okay,
you now.
sorry. So I do self-portraits, but I don't really usually consider them self-portraits because they're not about me. I'm the model because I don't have the money to pay one. So I created this for Art for Aid a while back, and they were looking for images about peace and in wartime.
That is very creative. I love that. So is that a white marker? How do you...
It's a white paint marker, yeah, that I just, because I write on myself a lot, so, yeah.
Very legibly, too. Like, that's,
Yeah.
that's well done.
Yeah.
I thought it was a font you added
This
afterwards.
was like shown in Amsterdam, I think, for that. And then this is called I'm Just a Girl. Some of these images are really old, and back when, I don't have large images of them, but this one I think I wrote on wax paper and then pressed it against my back.
How big can you print that?
Make a stamp. I don't know.
What does it say?
It says that way.
Okay, it was hard to tell because like you said, it's
So small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
This is probably my favorite ever. This is called Expired. And
That's awesome.
the date on my foot is the day that I turned 40.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. Probably my favorite ever. But
that is pretty cool. So original. So.
yeah. This one is called Dialogue, and this
Love that one.
this one's sort of like this. You know how we have this internal dialogue where we're like chastising ourselves for you didn't do this or you did this or blah blah blah. And when I started out, I thought, well, I'm going to cover my legs. And I got one leg done, I think, after an hour, and I was like, screw it. I'm just going to shoot the photograph. And then I actually liked it. But, yeah. But people always want to know, did you put that on there after the fact? It's like, no, I actually wrote that.
Wow.
I love that. I love that when it's real. You created it.
And
Photo. You didn't do it. That's so great.
It kind of freaks me out because if you zoom in, you can actually read it, and I'm like, well, okay, I just have to let it go.
Were there things you wrote that you didn't particularly want to write?
Yes.
That makes it even better.
I know. We're all gonna go back to it.
It's called Michelin Man, and I mean sometimes I try to be funny, and I don't know if you remember that commercial about the tires, the Michelin.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of these have to do with like the beauty industry and things like that. And so anyway, so I put rubber bands around me, and I'm actually laying on a mirror here, but
That is cool. It's just the uniqueness, so you don't see it.
and this is called You Left an Empty Shell, and I don't talk about this one. I just let people see what they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see what I want to see.
I think this is a really powerful image.
I like this one a lot, yeah. And this is the very first time I ever did any compositing.
That is cool.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny to chop my head off and
Serve it up.
this is it's what's for dinner.
It came out good. I like it.
And I don't belong in your trophy case. I can. This one, I think the theme I was going for was like a coming out of your cocoon for the new year. But I liked the way it looked like bones. Right.
So how did you set this up?
This one I do quite often, where I have a simple backdrop stand, and I'll have like a white sheet, just like a bed sheet, and I put the lights behind the sheet. So everything is behind the sheet except for the camera. So the camera's in front, then you have the sheet, then you have me, then you have the lights. So you're sort of kind of creating a silhouette. but not so much. And the closer you get to the sheet is where the darker parts show. And then when you back up, it's more blurry. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of, and you can do it, if you do it with strobes, it'll be like a very, more of a silhouette. But if I do it with like, you know, total lights or something that's steady, then it's more blurry and dreamy.
I want to see one of Jordan like that.
Oh, when I threw this one in there just because it's different. When I love to shoot like cities and stuff, but I like to twist it. So this is one of the bridges in Chicago over the river. But I thought, well, if I turn it on its side, there's a little lamppost, and I don't know. I just thought it looks like some woman walking the plank. She's about to
totally.
So yeah, and that's all.
That is cool.
Nice.
That's all I got.
I think I got to see a few that I haven't seen before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's what I was like. The first one with the victory sign, the one with the due date or the expiration date on your feet.
Yeah, I don't have that one on Google Plus because I never know who's gonna flag.
No, I think if they flag it, they flag it. I just think it's so unique that I doubt there will be people. People are being very open-minded at Google Plus, and hopefully they keep it that way and they don't.
Well, I've had lots of trouble on Flickr.
It just depends.
Flickr, really?
Oh, like 3 or 4 times, yes. I've been banned, and then I'm like.
So it depends if you have a
image, and I'll take it off, and I take it off, and they say, okay, you're safe now. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, they need to stop that. If not, everybody's gonna migrate to 500. So.
Yeah.
All right, thanks,
Well,
Christi.
thank you for sharing that. That's pretty awesome. And I actually want to know when you start teaching. I think that would be pretty cool that you're.
Oh yeah, this fall. Yeah.
Okay, take some pictures of it, post it up, and say, hey, people, this is what film looks like, and this is what a darkroom is, and then it's just a black picture.
This is what film is, Juan.
I know, exactly.
We've done a show on film.
Yeah.
He was too drunk. He doesn't remember.
I know. I'm usually too drunk. So, Lotus, are we going to move on to the announcements of the top 3 images?
I think we should. I think we should share who the winners from our last month's challenge are.
Which was post-processing. That was for the month of July.
Post-processing. And so we'll start with third place and move forward to first place. Let me screen share. Give me just a second here.
And I think third place wins a $20 off of Stocking Customs from Trey Radcliffe's.
That is correct. And here's our winning image.
This is the third place from Giovanni Pirada. I know him.
Oh,
I can mess his last name because I know him.
That's okay. You won't mind.
I had drinks with him before.
Giovanni P.
Yeah, from Tokyo. So he gets $20 off from Stocking Customs, and thank you Stocking Customs for sponsoring that prize.
Excellent. And second place?
Second place goes to Eric Coleman from Austin. And he's getting, I'm jealous, he's getting a Cotton Carrier camera system.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which I'm anxious to see when they send it to him, just to see how it works and how easy to carry your camera with those.
It's amazing that an image of Nikolai can win anything.
Well,
kudos to Eric.
Yeah, exactly.
For that.
Well,
I have to do that. Nikolai and I have a love-hate relationship. I had to get my jab in there. We couldn't even. Who should we tag here? He
was one of the few that had the balls to win with a post-processing of a portrait. So, and it came out good. I mean, Nikolai
That's great.
Yeah.
Totally busted Nikolai's balls. Just being a jerk.
Yeah. Well,
okay, so let's move on to the first place winner.
And the first place winner is Rainer Ritz from Berlin, Drinking Club Berlin, and he wins a Smug Mug 1-year account.
Nice.
Wonderful.
I like that shot.
So yeah, it was post-processing, so I think that's the reflection, and he inverted it. I'm still trying to figure out what he did with it, but I love the whole dust
It
thing
looks
going.
like he flipped it.
Yeah, he flipped it, but...
So it plays with your mind for a little.
Yeah, he's playing with my mind. So, congratulations to the top 3 images, and I'll be contacting you tomorrow when I'm sober to arrange all the deliver of the prizes.
And so this month
we
also have a challenge going on.
Yeah, which is contrasting colors, and that's for the month of August. And pretty soon I have to come up with the other 6 months. So.
Any of the photos on a can enter to win prizes from Gary Fong flash diffusers, artistic photo canvas, and Peanut.
Yep. So just make sure you submit your images and participate on some of the drink and click events in the different cities we have. I think we're up to 31 cities, 32 cities.
Woo woo!
Nice.
And if you're interested in hosting a drink and click on your city, just send us an email, drinkandclick@gmail.com.
It's awesome fun.
Yeah, and then we can arrange something. You'll meet a lot of cool people, and you get to expand your network on your city, leading a chapter. So just get in touch with us and lead one. And if you want to know more about us, just go to drinkandclick.com and just check it out. Let us know, and we'll stay in touch. Lotus, we want to say good night.
Yeah, we'll see everybody again next month on September 10th. That's our next show. And until then, we hope to see them at Drink and Click Photo Walks. Yep. And thanks everybody with the show tonight. Jordan, Sara, Christi, Brad.
Yep.
And thank you everybody for watching.
Yeah, thank you everybody.
Yes.
We'll see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye.